Corey?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're good to go.
Okay, welcome back to our afternoon session of the class. This time we are going to talk on the chapter 5, criteria of ethical judgment. Criteria of ethical judgment is a complex issue because it involves a person's preconceived ideas such as religious belief and some temporary emotions, strong emotion in this case. People always justify their action. In today's time, you see and the widespread public display of their view. They have different kind of attitudes. The real criteria for ethic is to promote well-being, to create positive results. In order to do that kind of action, a goodwill is compulsory. Goodwill is very, very important. Even if someone is angry at someone or something, some situation, intention must be always good. If the intention is very much short-sighted intention, it's not good. It can lead to many negative things. So in this case, the question, what constitutes an ethical judgment? This is a very deep question with a lot of complex answers. First, let me summarize. Ethic, religion-based ethic, humanitarian goodwill-based ethic. In religion-based ethic, people will do whatever they think other guy is wrong. You see, that's why you see a lot of the negative thing happening, vandalizing of the church and vandalizing of the monument. It's totally no point because these are not relevant. So what we need to understand is religious-based ethic has many flaws, as I explained you in today's morning, because some religion have narrow framework without any kind of goodwill included in the criterion judgment. So faith-based, belief-based ethic has certain flaws. You can see this in killing of the animal in rituals of the sacrifice committed even in Buddha's time. In Buddha's time, this is a big problem. Buddha has to deal with such kind of thing. Once, I want to tell you an interesting story about the King Pasenadi. King Pasenadi is quite close to the Buddha. Even though he is quite close to the Buddha, he still comes from a social background where the superstition and dogma are part of the religious belief. So one day he got some bad experience hearing the loud, terrible noise, whole kind of noise, but which he cannot figure out what the sounds mean. So he feels very shocked. He consulted with the astrologer, his teacher. His teacher, great astrologer, also at their loss to find the meaning of those words. Those four words are: the first word is dude, the second word is si, the third word is na, and the fourth word is so, do, si, not so. These four words incomplete and finished word said by the people on other side of life from the hell. These beings in the hell are suffering, great suffering in their hell. Luckily, they have a chance to come out for a short while from their hell, from the big walk of the iron hot liquids. They just come up and bubble off, and they just start saying this word, do's. And the moment they kind of finish the word, they just submerge into the liquid, hot liquid. So they cannot complete their words. And the king's astrologer cannot find the meaning. What kind of words these are? Because they are incomplete words. Only the way you used to hear the sound, such as A or B, something R or Ba, etc. So there is no complete meaning, no complete words. So the astrologer teacher cannot find the meaning, but he doesn't want to admit he cannot find the meaning. Instead, he said, "Your Excellency, I see great danger." He said this word. Then the king asked, "What kind of danger?" The astrologer replied, "To your life. And your life is in danger, you will die." "Really? I'm going to die? Is there any way I can escape or I can overcome this situation?" "Of course." "Then what I should do?" "You must make a huge sacrifice, 500 pair sacrifice, 500 goats, 500 cows, and 500 sheep, and also the human beings. Also, you must get all these things, and you must kill in the sacrifice ritual to please the demons who are going to cause harm." So he took the advice of the astrologer. He ordered his army and soldiers to take the cows and goats and sheep from the public. So there's a lot of crying, a lot of songs, very terrible sound coming out of the city. And the king's wife, her name is called Malika. She heard that, what's wrong? I heard a lot of crying sounds and people are suffering sound. Then the king told her, "My wife, why you don't know? I'm now burning with the fire. I'm going to die if I don't do this kind of sacrifice. That's why I order my soldiers to snatch the cows and goats and sheep and all the people to perform the sacrifice after killing them." Then the wife is very wise queen. So she said, "No, let me find a solution for this. You just stop this for a while. Now let's go together." She arranged to take the king to the Buddha. When there is the great teacher available in nearby place in the city, in the big monastery, why you are worrying about such unreasonable fear? You should go and see. Let's go and see. So they arrange everything in a hurry, such as chariots and horse-drawn chariots, and they just go to the temple where Buddha is staying. And they get off their chariots and they just walk on foot to see the Buddha. The king cannot speak anything because he is overwhelmed with the fear of death, possible fear of death. So he just approached the Buddha, he paid respect to the Buddha and sat down quietly without saying any word. Then the queen starts talking to the Buddha. "Lord Buddha, we came here because now our king has a possibility of death. He is very fearful of his death. So he ordered to perform a 500 pair life sacrifice of animals, including human beings. That's all you hear in the loud noise in the Swansea CD. So we come here to ask your guidance. Then the Buddha asked the king, what kind of sound you hear? Then he answered, Lord Buddha, I hear very terrible noise I never heard in the world since I was born into the human world. The first song I heard is do, very big song, do, then it stopped. And the second song I heard is sir. And the third song after that is I hear na. And the last word I hear is so. I had only these two words. I cannot find the meaning because they are incomplete words. So I asked guidance from my astrologer teacher what will have been to me because I had such kind of terrible sound. Then my astrologer teacher told me that my life is in danger. These are very bad sign of the demons. So they are going to kill me. So that's why I order corns and sheep and goats to sacrifice in a big sacrificial ceremony. Then the Buddha said, okay, wait a minute. Let me check what's behind this kind of terrible sound. Then Buddha found out with his omniscient, all-penetrating psychic eye. Then he said to the king, don't be afraid of the king. Don't be afraid of these poor, terrible songs you hear. These are the sounds of the poor people who are suffering in the hell. They come out of their hot liquids and they have a chance to relieve for a few minutes. At the moment, they just start talking to each other. Dude means duju dhamma majingwa hidano adramati, etc. Buddha is just trying to mention the words and the complete words they want to say. And this is a quite interesting story. It is about the four rich, wealthy people who be very wealthy persons in their own previous lives. They are wealthy, so they don't have anything to do in terms of getting a job and doing the extra business because their parents are so rich. So they don't need to do anything. So they start thinking about what to do with their wealth. And some of them suggest they should eat the best food available in wherever they can find. And one of the guys, they suggest, no, we should do entertainment. We should sing, we should dance, we should throw the party as much as we want. The other one said, no, we should get the best expensive thing. Then the last guy suggests, oh, you stupid, don't do about that. They are meaningless. Let's enjoy pleasure. There are a lot of beautiful women and girls. No woman, no girl will not pay the money. They will accept the money. So by paying the money, we will enjoy with them. So they agree, the last advice of the guy. So since then, they all their life, they just continue womanizing in many different ways, immoral ways. And they do many immoral things, including adultery. So as a result of their bad action, they are suffering in the hell. So one of the first guy, what he said is, oh, we have lived life in a wrong way. Once out of this hell, once I'm reborn in the human world, I will cultivate goodwill and trying to do charity and trying to do good deeds. This is the first one we want to say. The second was sa. Sa is a sati or satsani. It means that, oh, we have been here in this hell for 60,000 years already. Once we are out of this hell, once we are reborn in the human world, we are going to live a righteous and noble life, doing good things. This is what he want to say. And the other one, na, is a complete complaining word. Oh, nati ando, kuto ando. It means that there is no end of our suffering. When we are going to finish this suffering, suffering seems to be no end. We have done a lot of bad deeds in our human existence. Once we finish this suffering, we have to do good deeds. That's what we want to say. And the last and the fourth word, so. So means dead person. This means that me, once I'm out of this hell, once I'm reborn in the human world, I will try to improve my conduct and character. I will try to observe the moral precepts and cultivate goodwill and do good deeds. That's what we want to say. Buddha said, don't be afraid, Your Majesty, there's nothing to worry about. These are the sound of the 4 persons from the hell who are complaining about their past misdeeds. There's no reason for you to be worried about that. And when Buddha said, these were the king's relief. So in this story, what I want to say is that even in times of the Buddha, killing of the live animals and live human beings is the way of the people, the way of sacrifice. Even today, you can see every year in the yearly festival of the Eid, you see the thousands and thousands of, not thousands, millions of cows and bulls are slaughtered in a large, massive scale. So ethical criteria based on religion is very full of the flaw. So religious ethic is to be based on faith and religious ethics. So it has a lot of flaw, especially from viewpoint of compassion and goodwill. And only in the ethical criteria for the secular based ethic is more based on goodwill and consideration of others' pain and suffering and consideration of the possible results. So the best criteria is to be based on goodwill and positive consequence. Now you see in front of you in the page, the principle of humanity and goodwill, moral reasoning, and intellectual thinking should be the criteria. Religious ethic is to please unknown and unseen deity, unknown and unseen God. Moral ethic is to make everyone happy, to make everyone without suffering, without any negative consequence. So the best generalized, brief way of the judging ethical criteria is through goodwill and positive results. Humanitarian goodwill and positive result. In the paragraph in secular ethics, you see humanitarian goodwill-based principle and action, which are conducive to preserving the common good and well-being of all those involved, is the most universal ethical criteria. This one is much more relevance. In Buddhism also you see the same thing, because Buddhism is based on the logical thinking. Any action which is originated in the humanitarian goodwill, which is free from any type of ill will such as greed, anger, hatred, jealousy, done with the good intention for the well-being of oneself and others, are the ethical criteria. These are very short, easy to note ethical criteria. So let's turn to next page. Let's turn to next page. Now here on this page, there's a brief explanation regarding the criteria, ethical judgment and ethical criteria. Ethical judgment should be preceded and guided by moral reasoning, careful assessment of the pros and cons, possible scenario, positive outcome. B, be based on universal humanitarian goodwill. And C, always lead to a general outcome of respecting and promoting the general well-being of those involved in an act resulting from choice or decision. D, be aimed at maintaining human dignity, decency, and civility, even if some unintended negative outcome may come up in the extreme situations, such as famine, conflict, and competing issues of survival. And E, be carried out in good faith, goodwill. These are actually, to summarize all these, very simple. Ethical judgment should be based on goodwill and careful thinking about consequence. It should not be based on extreme emotions, extreme religious faith. So it's very simple and easy to understand. Okay, now let's turn to the next page. Irony and paradox, like this is just only you read through all these things. They are just only expression of the complex nature of the life, complex conditions of life. So we turn next page. Okay, next page. Secondly, okay, Tali. Morality and ethic Buddhism. We should go ahead with the morality and ethic in Buddhism. Now, let's talk about morality and ethic in Buddhism. Morality is the foremost important thing in all of Buddha's teaching. Without moral foundation, there is no way up. Nothing can be meaningfully achieved. No meaningful achievement of the higher state can happen, regardless of whether a person is leading a social, secular life or spiritual life. Lay people also need good moral foundation. Monks, monastic, and all those who live a strict spiritual life, they also need moral foundation. Moral foundation, why it is necessary? Why Buddha emphasized the great importance of the morality? Because the morality is the basic of holiness. The base of holiness, all the element of holiness, element of purity, should be based on perfect action and physical action, as well as on goodwill. All these three are interrelated. In Buddhist text, you cannot see the Buddha behaving in an emotional way. Buddha never curse anyone. Buddha never censure anyone. Buddha never censure anyone harshly. Buddha only censure using very polite words when the situation is good or bad, especially bad action of the monk or a person. Buddha never threat anyone for not believing, for not being a follower of him, because he just only teach universality of the truth, universal nature of the well-being, righteousness. So morality, to recap this, uh, morality is the first and foremost foundation of all the Buddha's teaching. Not only of all Buddha's teaching, of everything good, everything holy, and everything pure. Spiritual progress, social progress are based on good moral foundations, good moral principle. That's why in Buddha's teaching, especially threefold training, the first training is to observe moral precepts, to establish oneself in the firm moral ground. Once a person is established in the firm moral ground and firm moral foundation, the rest is easy. That's what Buddha said. The rest is just only an easy thing to achieve. Once we have a strong moral foundation, based on strong moral foundation, we can attain the higher state of the mental peace and calm, and we can attain the absorption state or advanced pure mental state. We can attain the liberated mental states known as enlightenment. So all those kind of achievement, various level of the achievement are based on moral foundation. Okay, now let's complete. Now please keep in mind moral ethical criteria, basic ethical criteria. Remind yourself what's the basic ethical criteria. Now, okay, let's turn to next page. Criteria of ethical judgment in Buddhism. This is only a quotation of what Buddha said in Buddhist text. These quotations are short to the point. And this quotation, 67, verse number 67, which comes from the Dhammavada. This is a very simple and easy to understand criteria. If done is that action doing, which one repents later, the fruits of which one weeping reaps with tear. So this is very simple. Something which one has done, but the results, bad results, one feels sad and regretful. Such kind of action is not good action. So anything whose nature is not good, which can bring bad results, and which can feel sad repeatedly for doing that action. This is a wrong action not to do. And good action is any action that bringing good results, which one can enjoy and be happy about it without any regret, without any feeling of remorse. And this action, such action is good action. So it may explain about the nature of action and the consequence of action. The nature of action must bring good results. That good result make you happy. Then that's it to be do. That action is to do. And if the action is not good in itself, it brings also bad result, and you feel sad or remorseful for that. Don't do it. That's a basic criteria for ethical thing. In this case, Buddha only mentioned about the result and the nature of action. The nature of action is negative. The result is also not good. Then don't do it. The nature of action is good, and the result is also good, and then you can go. You can proceed to do it. So, basic ethical criteria Now, next paragraph. A and B. Identify A. If a deed causes suffering and sorrow to oneself and to others, then that deed is not good, not a good deed. But it needs a lot of explanation. B. If an action brings joy and benefit to oneself and to others or to vote, then that action is deemed good. These are just only generalization of the basic ethical criteria. In this case, the motivating cause is not mentioned. Motivating cause in this case is goodwill. Goodwill-based action, ill-will-based action should be included in the ethical criteria. Even though here it only explains about the result to oneself and others, bad result to oneself and others, then that's a not good deed. Good result to oneself and others, and that's good. This is an incomplete aspect. We have to take the goodwill into consideration. On goodwill and the result are two criteria of the good ethical judgment and ethical action. Now, advice of the Buddha to Rahula. This one is very interesting. This is recorded in the Ampalatika Rahula Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya text. In this sutta, Buddha gave detailed instruction to his only son Rahula. Whenever Rahula during that time became a novice, then Buddha started teaching him. Because young people, during that time, Rahula is still young, so Buddha thought about telling lie, especially in this case, telling lie, and also doing everything casually. Young people, they used to do everything casually without thinking about the consequence. So Buddha encouraged the Venerable Rahula to reflect before action. Also to use reflection while one is doing action. And also to review after one has performed any action. So it's like a three-phase reflection of every action. Every action, before we do, we have to reflect consequence, pros and cons. While we are doing, we have to reflect. We have to review whether it is worth doing or stop to do based on the consequence. After we have done, we have to have some sort of reviewing to check whatever the action we have done is beneficial or not, or good or bad, etc. So in this case, Buddha use all the action must be preceded and must be managed and must be reviewed by careful reflection. This way we can avoid mistake, we can avoid unethical actions. This is just only an example. So you don't need to memorize this. Okay, let's go ahead to then. Let's go ahead. Okay, now next page. Okay, the choice and decision, according to this Buddha's advice, is very simple. The choice, decision, and actions are to be preceded by careful, wise thinking, on being wholesome and unwholesome. The pros and cons and all possible scenarios of both good and bad results. 2, cultivating goodwill, good intentions are necessary when making choice and decision. 3, being diligent and mindful to take necessary action depending on the unfolding outcome. 4, one should either proceed or stop based on the outcome. This is just only a summary of the Buddha's advice regarding this discourse. They are very wonderful guideposts for us when we are doing everyday action to check our action so that we can do more responsible, more action, more beneficial thing. Because Buddha greatly emphasized the role of the individual human action based on Western knowledge and a strong sense of moral and ethical responsibility to shape the condition of good social environment and spiritual well-being. So it's very simple to understand. Okay, now let's go to the next chapter. Let's go to next chapter. Duty and obligation. These two words, duty and obligation, seems like quite different if we try to interpret these two words based on semantic difference. In this chapter, you have learned already how they are similar and how they are identical in terms of fulfillment of one's responsibility, even though they seem different. There's a detailed, some sort of detailed explanation regarding this. But we have to define what is duty and what is obligation. To understand, we have to go to the difference between obligation and duty. We can read through that. Once you read it, you can make a little bit different. Obligation, the difference between obligation and duty. Obligation is something imposed on an individual. Duty occurs from a sense of moral responsibility in one's own mind. Our obligation is compelled. Duty is not compelled. In our obligation, there's no choice, but in duty, individual has the choice. Well, actually, everything depends on your conscience. Everything depends on your social conditions or work condition. Work-related condition, you are assigned a duty. You must do it. It's compulsory. But if you are not in a working environment, such as in the job or corporate business or in any office or any official duty, then you have to perform any moral responsible act out of your conscience. This action is more important in making a person a good person. Now let's turn to next page. Let's turn to next page. So we should not bother with all this. We should only understand. In the last paragraph of this chapter, you see that a little bit different. I just only used using the two minor differences. Even though both duty and obligation are explained very differently, both are not different in terms of fulfilling a responsible and required action. So it is very simple to understand. I have used an example by using a torchlight, use of solar energy. In this chapter, you may have seen already this one. Both duty and obligation actually light two different lights based on two different sources. One light is based on electric power, the other is based on alternative source of power supply. The same thing. So duty and obligation, even though they seem like different, they fulfill the same role of fulfilling one's responsibility. Okay, now let's turn to next chapter, ethic and social welfare. Ethic and social welfare are two different sides of the same coin, the same uh, coin. Why? Because they are inseparable. We cannot separate. If we have ethic, we have welfare as a result. Having welfare and happiness is the result of ethic. But ethic and social welfare are sometimes quite neglected by people. Even though they talk about ethic, sometimes they don't care about social welfare. Because they just only think about ethic. They don't know about the wider impact it can have on society, like a democracy and education. Democracy and education are two necessary, corresponding and mutually complementing factors. Democracy can be employed in a society where almost everybody is highly educated, knowing about what is democracy, what is anarchy and lawlessness. If education standard of the society is too low, then democratic ideas cannot be applied. You can see this unfolding in the society. For example, in America is a democratic society. They uphold democratic ideals in many ways. But quite recently, there are some people who are very much irresponsible. Their education maybe is weak, so they don't know what is the lawful, peaceful protest and what is unlawful, damaging, and very detrimental, destructive protest. So they cannot distinguish. There are a lot of the bad elements come into play. So we see a lot of bad things going on, and a lot of shops are destroying for no reason. Many people become trapped in this situation, very bad situation, due to such kind of violence. In this case, we have a clear view that democracy is based on fairness and education, a high degree of knowledge. If some certain segment of the society, a certain group of people behave badly, then democracy itself becomes an abuse opportunity for those bad guys. So ethics and social welfare are interconnected. To have an ethic, one needs to have good knowledge and good understanding and wisdom. With that knowledge and wisdom, one can distinguish what is ethical and what's not ethical. So ethic and ethical actions are based on wisdom and knowledge and humanitarian goodwill. This will have impact on society, bringing joy, happiness, and benefit to other people as a whole. This way, ethics has good social impacts. So there's no arguing about it. There's no doubt about the effect of good ethic, morality can have on the society. So let's turn to next page. Consequence of immorality, you already learned this in the sutta selected study of the suttas. So we just turn to next page. Now, consequence of morality and ethicality is also the same thing. You have already studied this in the selection of the suttas, social impact and social welfare. This is just only enlargement of the social impact. You just only need to read through, and there's not much to memorize on this. Now, down to the next page, spiritual impact, moral training precisely. Down to the next page, okay. Okay, spiritual impact. Okay, we stop here. Now, besides having social impact, morality and ethicality can have great impact on consciousness. This is what Buddha has said. One's action, either moral or immoral, have impact on the spiritual well-being. Those people who have done a lot of the criminal acts, even though they may smile outwardly, their mind is crying for their wrongs and their misdeeds. In Buddhist day, Buddha has said in a very well-known verse, it said about the best witness in the world. Buddha said, don't ignore the best witness in the world, which is your spirit and your consciousness. Attade brisa janai awi waro. Buddha said, you do whatever right or wrong in front of other people or in your own private. Do whatever you want. Trying to hide your action, but you cannot hide your action against your spirit. Your spirit, your consciousness is the real witness of what you do and what you did and what you are. This means that a person knows about oneself more than other people, even though he may try to project himself an image of saintliness or an image of the righteousness. If he is an evil person, even if he is he's put on the religious garbs or the holy robes, he's not a holy man. He's just only a hypocrite. Doing bad things, having negative, very bad mental states, doing bad things, immoral things in the private. So he cannot cheat his consciousness. His consciousness is the best witness. So, in light of what Buddha has said in this discourse, immoral acts or moral acts have spiritual impact. Our spirit itself is the witness. If we have done, or if we are living good life, moral life, doing good things, then our conscience is clear. Our conscience is clear. Then no pain, no regret, no remorse. As a result of being free from remorse, the mind can enjoy in being good, in being able to live a moral life. In this way, it can lead to inner joy, inner calm. So in Buddhist, it's clearly explained about the benefit of having good, strong moral precepts and moral standards. It will make your mind joyous. And that joy will become sustained and will further lead to more strong joy, strong happiness. And once you have that kind of good mental state, concentration develop easily. Once you develop concentration, it will slowly progress and then it will gain momentum, it will further progress, making more progress. That's what Buddha has said. Let me quote it down. Okay, now let's have a break time. Okay, now everybody here.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, now let's resume our class. Welcome back. Moral training and the effects of morality are greatly emphasized in Buddhist teaching. There's an explanation, brief explanation regarding the effects of morality. If a person has moral precepts, well maintained, well observed, if he practices meditation, his mind is already empowered by this kind of moral energy, this kind of moral precepts. So the moral precepts are like the spiritual empowerment, like the physical clothes. Physical clothes we used to put on, the nice and clean and clothes we put on, are empowerment of our body. In the same way, the moral precepts are empowerment of our spirit, our consciousness. If we try to adorn our mind with the moral precepts, it becomes more bright and more powerful and without any remorse. So it can lead to development of the concentration, inner calm, inner peace, and slowly leading to further progress in meditation, such as attainment of the absorption states and development of insight knowledge and attainment of the higher spiritual achievements, leading all the way to the Nibbana. So the effects of moralities are very positive in many ways. It can lead to spiritual progress, not only for social well-being. Okay, that's how we need to understand in this in this chapter. Now let's go ahead to next chapter. Let's go ahead, turn next page. Okay, chapter 8. Buddhist ethic related to religion. Ethic related to religion can be divided into two categories. Ethic for monastic, ethic for ordinary lay people. Ethic for monastic is very wide. When I'm going to start this course, at first I thought about explaining monastic ethic to the students, but it will be quite relevant because as a lay people, you need to familiarize with the more about the secular ethic, which are applicable for a layman in the society. Ethics for monastic are recorded in Vinaya Pitaka text. Vinaya Pitaka text is a 5-volume book. 5-volume book. Each volume is about, let's say, nearly 400 pages. Altogether, these 5 books covers more than 2,200 pages, nearly 2,250 pages. So monastic ethic is wide. Out of monastic ethic, some are compulsory and some are for improvement of the monastic conducts. Some are general guidelines in living a everyday life as a monastic. If you're interested to study about the monastic ethic, you have to study Vinaya Pitaka text. There are some translation, English translation, but they are really good for lay people also because they are records, interesting things happening in Buddha's time to the monk and to the Buddha. All those incidents are recorded. These incidents are related to imposing or stipulating new rules and regulations. For example, in the Mahavaka text, there are some records about Buddha's early days of enlightenment. In Shulavaka Pali text, there are many interesting things about how the wealthy man Anathapindika meet the Buddha, how he became a disciple of the Buddha, how the grandfather of the Visakha became the disciple of the Buddha, etc. There are many wonderful events recorded in those kind of Vinaya Pitaka texts. So it is like an encyclopedia, a biographic sketch of the Buddha's life, not only about monastic codes. So if you are familiar with the Pali language, you can. Or if you want to study later on, I can give you some sort of the advice regarding that. Okay, now let's go ahead to another paragraphs. Precepts for the novice. If you are a novice, you have to understand about that. Altogether, 10 precepts. A novice or a novitiate, female novitiate, they have to observe these 10 precepts. These precepts are actually not much different from the layman's precepts, except in a few one, additional ones. Okay, turn to next page. Now let's turn to next page. Ethics for the laity. Ethics for the laity. There are 2 kind of precepts. Number 1 is a basic precepts. Number 2 is special precepts. Basic precepts are to apply in daily life. Usually basic precepts are not much. They are just only 5 moral codes, 5 moral precepts to make a happy person, a moral person, to make a happy family and a moral society. And special precepts are intended for the certain occasions such as on the special day of the Uposta day. In Bali it's called Uposta, in English Sabbath day, the day of the special fasting, where the spiritual progress, spiritual purity and moral purity are intended. So in special precepts are usually 8 precepts, 9 precepts, not more than that. So they are easy and simple to observe. If you can challenge observing these 8 precepts or 9 precepts. Okay, now let's go to the basic precepts. Let's go to the basic precepts. Basic precepts are 5 precepts. You have to familiarize with this. Then there may be some sort of the question. If you come across that kind of question, you have to be able to answer. They're very simple. For lay people, what are the minimum 5 moral precepts? You have to answer. 1, abstaining from killing. 2, abstaining from stealing. 3, abstaining from adultery. These are 3 bad bodily conducts. And 4, abstaining from telling lie. This is the worst form of the barbaric conduct. 5, abstaining from alcohol and narcotic drugs. This is also very important. So these 5 are very important basic precepts. Okay, now let's turn to next page. Now basic 8 precepts for adults and youths. These are called the Ajiva Dhammakas Sila, the livelihood-based 8 precepts. Abstaining from killing. 2, abstaining from stealing. 3, practice of celibacy. 4, abstaining from telling lies. 5, abstaining from slandering. 6, abstaining from harsh speech. 7, abstaining from telling useless talk. 8, abstaining from making wrong livelihood. These 8 rules are for unmarried adults and young members of the community. These rules, along with the 5 precepts, are ethical rules made to be observed by lay community. Now, let's study about the special precepts. Special precepts are just only 5 precepts, you just add 3 more. 1, abstaining from killing. 2, abstaining from stealing. 3, abstaining from sexual intercourse. 4, abstaining from telling lies. 5, abstaining from alcohol and narcotic drugs. 6, abstaining from eating from afternoon till next day dawn. 7, abstaining from dancing, singing, playing music instruments, enjoying entertainment shows, beautifying oneself by putting on makeup, use of perfume, etc. 8, abstaining from use of the luxurious bedding and luxurious seat, etc. So why we have to avoid music and dancing, why we have to avoid luxurious beds? I want to explain a little bit. Other things are okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 precepts are very simple. And 6 precepts, abstaining from eating from afternoon to till next day dawn. The purpose is to devote most of the time to spiritual practice. If we are going to eat dinner, we have to take a lot of time for preparing dinner, etc. So this way, it consumes a lot of time, a lot of energy. So in order to save time and energy, in order to devote more time for the spiritual training and spiritual progress, this rule is come up. But this rule is observed in the ancient India even before Buddha's time, especially by those hermits and ascetic living in the forest. They don't eat the dinner. They usually avoid it. So this is like an ancient tradition. And it also serves a good purpose of saving time and energy so that one have extra time to practice meditation. And number 7, abstaining from dancing, singing, playing music. Buddha is not against music and arts. Buddha has appreciation for that. But during the fasting and during the fast day, if one enjoys such kind of the thing, it causes distraction. Not only causes distraction, it can also create an environment where desire and other defilements can arise. So in order to prevent from such kind of the scenario, the layperson is prohibited from use of entertainment. Now, luxurious bedding, why? It is prohibited. Luxurious bedding, during the fasting day, the practice is to take austerity, to make austere practice and to make humility as a necessary rule, to make a simple lifestyle so that one devote more time One don't have hold any kind of attachment and craving to any material thing. If we use luxury then, arrogancy and conceit increase. So in order to prevent arrogancy and conceit from increasing our happiness, so we abstain from using luxury things. So these are called the 8 precepts. Now 9 precepts. 9 precepts you add Metta, loving kindness meditation. This loving kindness meditation is very simple. You begin with yourself, then with your co-meditator or your family member in the nearby area living in the same household. Then you transmit your goodwill to people, living beings in the east, in the west, in the north, in the south, and then and southeast and the northeast and southwest and northwest, down below and up above in the sky. So you transmit loving goodwill to all living beings in the 10 direction. And other 8 precepts are okay. You just only need to add Metta meditation as a 9 condition. So this is also very simple to understand and very simple and very easy. Okay, now let's go ahead to the next phase. Okay, now body, economy, and society, chapter 9. This is a very wide subject. This is a very wide subject. Politics is very complex. People are mostly based on self and egos. Even if there are only 2 parties, when people are always conscious about their party. For the real enlightened person, there is no party politic. There is no party politic. There is only one politic for the common good. Anyone who is doing very effectively for common good, that should be a good politician. Any system which promotes common well-being and common good, that's a good politic and good economy. So basically, good politic, good economy are based on selfless goodwill intended for common good, common happiness, common well-being, common progress, regardless of racial or social or any kind of narrow framework or discrimination. This is what good politics and good economy means. In this chapter, I'm trying to explain and briefly about how good politics and bad politics are motivated by internal force of our consciousness and mental states. Sometimes, even if we have good intention, situations lead to a bad situation. It's very complex. So we don't need to bother with such a wide subject. We can only summarize in a very simple way. Good politician are those with the goodwill, selfless goodwill, those who are working to improve quality of life, the daily, to relieve daily suffering and daily poverty of the society, so that there are less and less social ills and less conflict in the society. This way is a good politics. Okay, now next page. Here in the last paragraph, I mentioned about a good education and good sociology. Okay, now good politics and Buddhism. This is very important. These are 10 principles of the good government. Good politics in Buddhism You can read, I mean, you have already familiar with this one. I'm sure you have already familiar with this one. So you need to remember a little bit of it, even though you don't need to push yourself too much. So the first one is act of charity, to the needy, and two, sila, moral integrity and strict adherence to moral principle. Three, parisaga, distribution of necessary fund to the group of people. Four, ejwa, being transparent and straightforward. Five, madwa, being polite and skillful in matters of public communication and public relations without ever resorting to any threatening manner. Six, tapa, austerity and modesty, to set an example of role model. And seven, akoda, not reacting in anger, but reacting by being based on goodwill. And eight, awi heinz, non-violence to a subject. Nine, kandi, applying patience for forbearance. 10, awi. Actually, these are ideas, very high ideas, but which are sometimes very difficult to apply. For example, we don't know. Number 8, awi is non-violence. Non-violence is good. And also 9, kandi, applying patience. But if there are a lot of bad guys on the street, destroying public property, causing public suffering, the patient has its own limit. So we have to understand these are the idea in principle, but it needs a lot of complex solutions. These are just only the basic outline of the good government. So society and the conditions of life are very, very complex. Even if we try to be well-meaning and well-intentioned, sometimes things come up which are against moral precepts and against the high ideal. So in such kind of challenging situation, it's very difficult to apply all these high ideals which come in the religious text. So politics is quite complex. So we have to understand that politics is quite complex. We try to have a goodwill and good intention and sincere work for others and for oneself. This way it can lead to basic good politics. Otherwise, it's very difficult as a society to work together as a society with the unanimous consensus is a very big challenge. You can see this, and in front of your eye, people have different views on the different political spectrums and political affiliations. If you are more enlightened, more intellectual, you no longer hold onto any kind of politics, either Republican or Democratic. You no longer have this kind of notion. Instead, you support good people and good action. If you trust that person and his action, that's the best way to do. Otherwise, it can lead to a lot of conflict and a lot of friction, social friction among the friends and among the society. Okay, let's turn to the next chapter. So teacher versus pupil ethic or interpersonal ethic. Interpersonal ethic is very important teaching in Buddhist texts. Buddha frequently mentioned about the importance of interpersonal ethic. Why it is very important? Because nobody can remain separated from the society. Even if we are a hermit or a monk living in the forest, we have our own responsibility as a monk, as a hermit. We cannot shirk our duty and responsibility. In the same way, in the society, we are related to each other, either as a friend, as a family members, and as someone who is related to for some need. This clearly highlights the importance of the responsibility toward each other. In Buddhist text, Buddha mentioned the society as a vehicle. A vehicle, there are different parts, different components. All these components coordinate in terms of structure, in terms of their function. In the same way, each individual is like a small cog wheel in a big machine. It needs to function properly. If one cog wheel in the machine is out of order, the whole machine will stop. So it is interrelated. Society is interrelated in many ways. So that's why Buddha taught about the interpersonal ethics. This teaching is recorded in a discourse called the Singhalawada Sutta. Singhala is the name of the young guy. His father, while he was in his final moment, father whispered to son, my son, you have to show your respect to directions, to the east, to the west, to the north, to the south. Saying this word, the father died. So the son, Yama Singhala, doesn't know what to do. His father only said, just pay respect to the direction. So every morning, he just come early in the morning, he just pay respect to the east, to the west, to the north, and to the south. And the Buddha found out, Singhala, going to the east, going to the west. And then Buddha asked, Yama, what are you doing? Yes, my father told me a few minutes before he passed away to pay respect to the other direction. So there's a respect to my father. I mean, just doing this. Then Buddha said, okay, Yama, these are physical directions your father see. Actual direction is not this. Actual direction is just only your people, your families and friends are related to each other in a society. So you have to pay respect to all those things. In this case, the parents are Eastern direction. Parents signify Eastern direction. So you have to pay respect. You have to show your respect to the parents. How? Not by bowing down, but by fulfilling specific responsibility of a child to your parents. So, ethical responsibility of parents and ethical responsibility of the children. We can read, and then ethical responsibility and social relations. The first part is ethical responsibility of parents to children. This is very important. So you familiarize with this. Number one, parent duty to children, restrain them from whatever is wrong and evil. Two, direct them, guide them, whatever is right and good. Three, provide and help them get a good education and necessary training for a profession and livelihood. Four, help them get suitable marriage and find a right spouse. Five, pass inheritance at the right time. So these are 5 duties of the parents to children. So you have to familiarize a little bit, but some of the teachings may be a little bit strange for people in the West. For example, help them get suitable marriage. In today's time, people choose their own friends, their own companion by themselves. In the ancient India, is the tradition of the parents to arrange the marriage of their children. So this is a little bit foreign concept to people. Also, the past inheritance as a right in Judaism. This is also very simple to understand, but in the Western society, children don't expect anything from their parents. They don't ask. But in the East Asian society, parents has to pass the inheritance at the right time. Sometimes when they got married, sometimes before they die, they have to share, they have to distribute all the inheritance among the siblings equally. So these are 5 responsibilities of the parents to the children. Now, responsibility of the children toward the parent. This is also very important. 1, support the old parents in the way they have supported you. 2, do whatever is needed for parents in the same way they did when we were young. 3, respect and maintain family lineage and tradition. 4, manage inheritance passed by parents wisely. 5, pray and perform meritorious deeds in memory and in honor of the parents when they have passed away. Now, let me explain number 1. Support the old parents. Even if they are not old, if they need support, the children must be able to support the parents, because it is a moral duty. And number 2, children must do whatever is necessary for parents, especially parents' daily routine, some important thing. If the parents are not able to do, then the children must try to help them. And 3, respect and maintain family lineage and tradition. This means the custom, social custom, and tradition, and cultural custom and tradition, and they should respect such tradition. And also the religious belief, they should respect religious belief of the parents, even though they have a choice. And 4, manage inheritance passed by parents wisely. So this is very simple, easy to understand. All the inheritance passed by the parents should not be wasted. It should be preserved. Fight, do meritorious things, and praying for them when they are gone. These are 5 duties of children toward the parents. So please try to memorize this. Also very important, because they are important for sharing with the children and for the friends. Now, ethical responsibility of teacher. The teachers are the Western direction. The first duty is teach and guide well, with a sincere goodwill. 2, let them learn thoroughly without keeping any secret. 3, instruct them in every aspect of subject they study, so that they have complete understanding. 4, introducing to their friends for further progress if necessary. Or this happens in case the student asks help. Number 5, ensure that the students are safe and sound in every direction of progress. So this is just only general guidance to be given to the students. Or you may not be able to remember all this, you just only read through. So now, reciprocal responsibility of students to a teacher. 1. Rise to salute. Rise to salute is a way of their respect. 2. Wait upon them to attend to their needs. This is also a way of respect. While you are studying the course, and while you are dealing with the teacher, you have to help to wait upon his need. Otherwise, you don't need. For example, if you are going back to your home, your place already, no need. Number 3, be eager and keen to learn. So a student must be eager and keen to learn. 4, look after teacher if necessary. This is not always, because you are no longer living in the same household with the teacher. While you are in the school under his guidance, you need to look after. But in case sometimes teacher requests, you may do depending on your ability. If you are not able to do, it's okay. 5, learn and study with the seriousness and care. So you have to try to learn with a serious interest. These are 5 responsibilities of the students to the teacher. Respecting, helping, and taking care of him, and learn well. That's it, very simple. Now, a husband. This is the northern direction. The husband's duty to wife is to adore her. 2, to respect her. 3, to be faithful to her. 4, give authority, some authority in management of home affair, house affair. 5, provide her with her needs. These are basic general duties of a husband to a wife. Adore her means a husband must adore one's wife physically, verbally. So he must treat wife with a devotion. Number 2, respect her. Why is this included? In long term, staying together with a stranger, people start seeing shortcomings and faults. Some are difficult, some are okay. So in this case, some sort of disrespect may come up. We have to appreciate, husband must appreciate the positions of wife. Wife also need to appreciate the husband's role. So they have to respect each other instead of the contempt or disrespect. They have to appreciate and respect. And 3, be faithful. This is all important. Being faithful, being loyal is the very important foundation of a marriage, a happy marriage, a happy and lasting marriage. If one is not faithful to one's spouse, then that marriage usually cannot last longer. So this is very important. Number 4, give necessary authority and management of some of the home affair. This is also very important. Provide her with her needs. Okay, so we just ran through. Okay, now responsibility of wife to husband. Do necessary then. Deal skillfully with the relatives from both sides. 3, be faithful. Very important. 4, save and protect earnings and save well. 5, be active and skillful in managing family household. Okay, now ethical responsibility of a friend. Share what one can. 2, speak nicely. 3, help when need. 4, treat a friend with mutual goodwill. 5, keep one's word. Now, responsibility of another friend. 1, protect the friend and family when necessary. 2, protect his itself when needed. 3, other or far refuge, support, shelter when needed. 4, never abandon in times of danger and urgency. 5, care the friend's successive generation of children, depending on situation. So these are also very simple rules laid out by the Buddha. Now Employer, responsibility of employer to employee. 1, assign work as per the skill. 2, provide them with the regular wages and needs. 3, help in tending when they are sick. 4, share goodies with them occasionally. In times of Christmas holidays or New Year holiday, etc. 5, give them leave and holiday at the proper time. Now, duty of the employee to the employer. 1, be early in the work. 2, be late in the work. 3, take only what's being formally given. 4, perform one's assigned work-related duties well. 5, carry on the complementary works regarding the work, even if one is no longer working for him. So these are responsibility of the employee to the employer, to their boss. Now the responsibility of the monks and clergy. 1, bar them from what is wrong and evil. Guide the lay people in good and righteous things. 3, nurture goodwill toward the devotee, lay people. 4, enrich their knowledge, clarify their thought. 5, lead them on the path to heaven. Now, reciprocal responsibility of devotees. 1, treat them in goodwill. 2, speak with them in goodwill. 3, nurture goodwill toward the monk, to the hermits. 4, leave the door open to offer general support. 5, support them with the material, whatever necessary for their needs, etc. Okay, now these are responsibility of the lay people to the monastic. So these are just only brief. You just only need to run through. Don't need to push yourself too much. Okay, now let's turn to next chapter. Psychophysical disorders. This is also very simple. Mostly, the mind and bodies are 2 important components of a person. Sometimes things break down. Sometimes the body break down. Sometimes the mind break down. The body break down when some imbalanced physical conditions happen. Then disease and ailments and sickness arise. When the mind break down, mental problems happen. So there are a lot of mental problems and a lot of physical disease. Only a medical professional person who come from a medical background can explain and very clearly. But in this chapter, you need only familiarize with some region, some important aspect of the body and mind, how they are interrelated, how they are interconnected. So we need to look after our body health. We need to look after our mental health. We need to pay attention to mental well-being, as well as about physical well-being. Mental well-being and physical well-being are mutually important. If we are careful about looking after our physical well-being and mental well-being, will be okay. Things will be okay. So let's have a breakdown now. Hello? Okay, let's start. Okay. In this chapter 11, you have clearly a complete understanding about mind and body, how they are interrelated. I have you quote the nature of mind regarding the Buddha, the nature of mind, what Buddha said in the Dhammavada. The last paragraph in this page. The mind is really magic and manipulative. It has a lot of the wonderful controlling power. When a person do not have the knowledge of mind management, then situation become out of control. When a person knows the mind, how to manage it, then he will be master of his own mind. He will be able to manage his life well. So in this lesson, you can only read through on all the pages, and they are quite interesting for us to learn mind and body, how they are interrelated, interconnected. Okay, now let's go turn next page. Let's turn next page because the reading alone is enough for this chapter. Next page. So all these, the list of the mental conditions can be overcome by meditation or, for instant relief, by taking medication as prescribed by a doctor. So we don't, I don't want to talk about it because this is a more complex situation which involves modern medicine and spiritual medicine. Buddha's teaching is like the spiritual medicine. We have to take the spiritual medicine and spiritual training. This is what we need to understand in this course. Now, worry and fear. Let's now let's go down to next chapter. Worry and fear. And worry and fear, nobody is free from worry and fear. Everybody has some form of worry and fear because their mind is not fully enlightened. In the Buddhist text, those who are not fearful, who are free from worry, are only two kind of people in the world. Two kind of people who are no longer worried or who are no longer fearful. They are enlightened saints. Enlightened saints and also the very brave, extremely brave ones. Very rare kind of person, people in the world. In the animal world, the lions, they don't have the fear. It is mentioned in Buddhist text. Most people are timid and fearful. They fear because life is uncertain. It has uncertain element as a basic element. In this chapter, you see the quote said by the Buddha, Animata maninyata mechana ida jivita. Unpredictable and uncertain is the life of the mortals in this world. Unpredictable, there is nothing you can predict. You don't know how long we are going to live, and what kind of thing will happen to us in tomorrow or in the next year, etc. We don't know. Uncertainty, unpredictability, uncertainty itself serve as the basic foundation of the fear and worry. In order to overcome fear and worry, you have to keep yourself well informed about what is most important, to keep yourself fit and healthy, to manage your daily affairs of life, and to achieve in society, to establish yourself in a society and have a decent social status. It's a very complex issue. To be free from fear and worry completely is to be able to enlighten, to be able to progress in your spiritual path. Before we turn next page, we turn to the 8 worldly conditions of life, the way of life, 8 worldly conditions of life. Okay, now it's very important for all of us, not only for me, but for all of you, to understand these 8 conditions. These 8 conditions are very simple. They are in pair. The first pair is gain and loss. The second pair is disrepute and faith. And the third pair is blame and praise. The fourth pair is pleasure and pain. So these 4 pairs are the way of life, the way of war. Gain means getting what you want. Loss, losing what you have, or not getting what you want. In Pali, it's more simple. Pali, lava is getting what you want. Second word is alava. Alava, not getting what you want. In English, we translate as loss. Loss is something we lost, which we already have. Actually, not getting what we want is more simple, more truthful. Lava, alava, but for you, just only English is enough. Gain and loss. Please try to repeat yourself these 8 conditions of life. Gain and loss, disrepute and fame. Disrepute, we lost fame, we lost our dignity. Fame, we got famous, we were praised. And blame and praise, we are sincere in blame for some reason in our life. And we are praised for something we have done, for something we have achieved. And the fourth pair, pleasure and pain. In Pali, it's more simple. In Pali, it's called the sukha and dukkha. Sukha means happiness and being comfortable. And dukkha is unhappiness, suffering. So please try to keep yourself reminded of these 4 pairs, which are parts and parcel of our life and our conditions in this life as a human being. Even if we are not human being, even if we are born in the heaven we also have this kind of a condition we cannot escape. If someone is born into animal world, the same thing, but animal is more suffering, more miserable. You can imagine the suffering in animal world. Daily survival for food, struggling for the food itself is a big issue. In the human life, it's a little bit okay. Even though it's miserable, but it's still okay if compared to the animal life. So every life has this 8 condition. No one can escape. Please try to remember these 8 worldly conditions of life so that you can remind yourself life is full of such up and down. And up means gain, fame, praise, pleasure. Down is loss, disrepute, blame, and pain. So all these 4 pair altogether 8 are the way of life. And please try to remember this very good way to remind yourself of the way of life so that you will not be overjoyed when you are going through ups. You will not be too sad when we are going through downtime. So both the uptime and downtimes are natural process. We must be able to ride through both ups and downs of life with a very strong mind, with the wisdom and knowledge, so that we can move along all the conditions of life. Okay, now turn to next page. Turn to next page. So, in the light of the above sutta, the nature of a way of life do have good times and bad times, ups and downs with which no one can escape. So here the point is that even though we may have ups and downs, the most important thing is being able to ride through all these ups and downs. How? By having a well-trained mind, by learning about conditions of life by being prepared. Okay, then overcoming worry and fear is another issue. Totally overcoming worry and fear is achievable only by attaining enlightenment. Normally, one can overcome worry and fear for a certain duration of time by using one particular method of mental management and practical solutions of life. So this is a only brief explanation. Now let's turn to next chapter. Next chapter, please. Okay, Chaita, Mano, and Vijnana. Chaita, Mano, and Vijnana. This is also about the mind. Chaita, Mano, Vijnana do three different terms, but all refer to the mind. Chaita is the ability to be conscious, to be aware. Mano, the ability to reason, to logically think. Vijnana, the ability to know specially. Just only three different terms which depend on the function of the mind. When the mind knows and aware of, then we call Citta. When the mind reasons and thinks logically, we call it Mana. When the mind knows the different aspects of certain things, do oneself, do other, do a lie, all their life's deep mysteries, all this is called Vijnana. So all these three terms refers to the mind. Now, basic characteristic of the mind. Basic characteristic of the mind, and then next page. Then to next page. So we have to do next page. Basic characteristic of the mind. Number one, it has no material form. Number two, it arises and passes so fast within a nanosecond. There is no measurement method to calculate how fast the mind function. So, so number one characteristic is has no material form. Number two characteristic, it arises and passes so quickly. Number three, it is a more pure and innocent in its basic, fundamental, natural state. This is what Buddha said. Naturally pure and have sparkle. The mind has sparkle, but we don't know that sparkle. We cannot see unless and until we practice meditation and intensive retreat. When we practice meditation and intensive retreat, such as a 10 days or 1 month retreat, with the right guidance, under the good teacher, and we can make progress. And then we start seeing that wonderful sparkle of the mind. Okay, number four, it can travel great distance, regardless of physical barriers. And number four, it is the most difficult thing to restrain and to manage. And number six, it has a great potential for good or for bad. Number seven, it is quite volatile and so fluid. Number eight, it can bring one person up or down. When the mind brings us up, it can bring up to the heaven, to the highest heaven, or to the highest state of spiritual bliss called the Nibbana. When our mind brings down us, it can bring down to hell. It can bring down to street. It can bring down us to become a homeless person. So, the mind is a master illusionist, master magician, which can manifest in many ways. You can see this in long-term criminal who are always repeating their criminal acts, who has to be in the jail for many years. Why? Because they cannot manage their own mind, their own desire. So their mind brings them down toward jail, toward everything downward trend. So number 9 is the greatest determinant factor in making life livable or unlivable, worthless or worthwhile. So all these are characteristics of the mind. Once you understand the characteristic of the mind, you will appreciate your mind, your spirit, and you will be careful not to neglect it. Instead, to look after the mind, like the way you look after your body in daily cleaning and feeding the body. In the same way, your mind needs daily cleaning and daily nutritious food. What is the food of the mind and the spirit? What is the cleaning process? Okay, now let me explain. The cleaning of the mind is the through meditation. Meditation every day, at least 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes, or 1 hour, slowly, trying, don't push, never ever push to meditate. Just relax to meditate. Very important. This way it is called the mental cleaning and mental laundry. Mental nourishment is to keep the mind more calm and relaxed by kicking out any bad emotion and mental state arise, such as anger. When you see anger arising in your mind, don't do it don't do anything based on anger. You just retire into your private room, start meditating in a sitting position or lying position, focus on your breath, just be mindful of the breath, enjoying the peaceful breath, a very wonderful process of sustaining and prolonging your life by taking fresh air in. Just be mindful. Just let your mind flow with the incoming breath and outgoing breath. Just be aware of that. Slowly, you charge your mind. You re-energize your mind by spiritual nourishment. Actually, there are no spiritual medicine. In the contemporary world, people thought about having the psychedelic drug or and some other chemical drugs such as spice or ice, etc., so that they can get on high. And sometimes some people thought it will be very good for them to make their mind happy by drinking a glass of wine or by dancing or by singing music. It's okay. If you are really enjoying singing a very good music or listening a very melodious sweet music, you can do it. Or you let your mind carry away by the beautiful rhythm and sweet rhythms of the music. And sometimes you can play even music such as pianos or guitars or whatever musical instruments you are quite well skilled. You can use it, and it can provide temporary joy and temporary nourishment. But don't use physical drug such as ice and narcotic drug, which modern day people use in the wealthy people, among wealthy people. They will use it, but very dangerous. Please don't use. You just use some sort of relaxation, training, physical exercise, some musical instrument, and listening to the music, or getting fresh air and walking in a beautiful park and beautiful natural surrounding. This is also good exercise to give relief to your mind. But a meditation is much better than those things. It can really provide spiritual energy and nourishment. So there is no physical medicine for the mind, except some form of relaxation and some form of entertainment or some form of the meditation. So please keep in mind that the mind needs food. The mind needs daily routine cleaning. Okay, now let's turn to next chapter, chapter 14. Mind culture, mind development, and peace. I don't need to repeat it because what Buddha has said in this page is much more stronger and more powerful words. You can see the translation. Disciple, I see nothing else which can lead to greater harm as an untamed mind. Disciple, untamed mind can lead to greater harm to oneself and others. This statement is factual and truthful. It is also very powerful. It reverberates with the practical realities. So I don't need to repeat. So mind, culture, and mental development is very much unlike physical culture and physical development. For the body development, you need a nutritious food such as a protein, fibers, and all the necessary nutrients. For to tone down, to have a very good apps for your body, you have to do daily exercise in the gym and fitness club. You have to follow daily physical regimen. But for mental training and mental cultivation, you need a strong will, determination to cultivate goodwill fast. Then you have to love and care yourself. And you are not only your mind, but also your body. Both body and mind, you have to love your body and mind. Out of your love to your body, you have to take care of your body. Out of your love and appreciation to your mind, potential of the mind, you have to uh, try to bring out the best of your mind by practicing meditation. In this case, no, no pushing. Please do not push yourself. Mind has its own nature. You need to walk along with the mind. So mental culture, mental developments are to be patient. Where you have to be patient and you have to be determined, you have to be persistent, you have to persevere in your effort to train the mind. It is a long-term process, a long-term pursuit. It is not, you cannot expect immediate, instant result. You cannot expect overnight changes because overnight change and overnight instant results are only achievable for physical things. You can get an instant noodle, instant coffee. You can get an instant answer by use of the computer, etc. But in spiritual training and mental cultivation, you cannot expect overnight change, overnight result. It is very much gradual process. If you slowly go along the spiritual path by learning how to meditate, how to keep your mind calm, how to keep your mind focused on the object of meditation, how to manage your wandering thoughts patiently, how to let go of them, how you are dealing with the noise and sound you may hear during the meditation, how you are going to deal with the boring mind and lazy mind and fed up mind and resistant and rebellious mind. You have to be patient. Your mind is like a child, a playful child. It will always behave like a playful child. It will be always naughty and playful, mischievous. So you have to handle the mind very patiently and very like a mother's love. A mother's love is always patient toward her kids, her children. She see her children playing around. She just only pay attention to avoid any kind of harm to them. She just simply let go. In the same way, the mind is like that child. You have to be patient when you are training the mind. Slowly, it will become more used to. You will become used to the wandering minds and or the emotion. The moment they come up, you can see it, you can pick up it, and then you can note it down, and you can let go. And later on, this will be a very skilled action, like the way you are able to hit your racket ball and tennis, and then a tennis court. It's very much similar. So in order to be skillful in your sport, you have to exercise every day or once a week, whether you are playmate and the sports ground. In the same way, if you want to develop mindfulness key, you just practice mindfulness meditation slowly and patiently. And this way you can train your mind. Okay, now let's go to the next page, ways and methods of the development. Ways and methods of mental development. There are two ways and methods. One is called the samatha. Samatha meditation is basically very much the same. Vipassana is also very much the same because they are focused to develop mental calm and mental peace. In order to have mental calm and mental peace, we must be free from nervousness. We must be free from any kind of tension, excitement, and nervousness and seriousness will create mental tension. So when you are about to meditate, never ever think you are going to meditate. Instead, you just aware, oh, I'm going to relax the mind. That's it. So you slowly sit in relaxed position with a relaxed attitude. Don't let your mind be serious. Don't make your mind, your effort, everything be serious. Just be relaxed. This way, the mind will enjoy the meditation. And it is very much like going to bed. Some people, they make a lot of effort. The moment they lie down on their bed, oh, I must go to bed. Sleep will come to me. I'll try to go to sleep. Don't do that. Just go to bed, lie down, and start focusing on your breath, or start focusing on your abdominal movement of the rising and falling, and let your mind there. Let your mind stay there, focus there, and let inner peace come. And sleep will slowly come. You will slowly fall asleep. And sleep will come naturally. You don't need to add the sleep. Come sleep. I want you to be here. We cannot call sleep like the way we used to call your children, your friend, your family member. Sleep is a natural process. It has to be relaxed. In the same way, mental peace and mental calm are like that. You cannot ask, let mental sleep come. You cannot. You just relax. Keep the mind relaxed. Give the focus on the in-breath and out-breath on the nostril, on the tip of the nostril, or just observe it on the abdomen, on the navel, where the rising and falling is very evident. You just keep the mind there and be relaxed. Sleep will come. Even if sleep doesn't come yet, don't be irritated, don't be upset. Just let it go. If you have some sort of dissatisfaction or seriousness, worry, just note it down. Because everything is impermanent. Our every thought process, whatever comes out in the forms of worry, in the forms of seriousness, in the forms of dissatisfaction, in the forms of expectation, all these are impermanent. All these are impermanent, silent rhythm of the mind, like the waves of the fresh breeze coming and blowing through our house, a window. They just come and go. Nothing lasts forever. There's no way we can hold on to. There's no way we can hold on to our mind, our desire, our wish, our expectation. They just come and go. Let things come and let them go. things arise and pass. Whatever arises and will pass. If you have this kind of relaxed attitude, your meditation will be okay. So please know there are two kinds of training, samatha and vipassana, and every explanation is already given briefly here. You just only read through all this. Samatha meditation, main object, method, result. You just note it. Note it, very, very important. Now, for this next page, for the samatha meditation subject, in order to understand these 40 subjects, I want to advise you to refer to the Visuddhi Magga. Visuddhi Magga, the part of purification. But the part of purification in English translation is still, let's say, for the contemporary English, we still need to transform it into contemporary English so that it is more accessible for modern day young people. It is old English. So you just read through all this brief explanation of the 40 subjects. If you want to know more about it, go to the part of purification, Visuddhi Magga. It's very detailed explanation. Now, second method is called Vipassana. Vipassana meditation, you need to understand what is Vipassana meditation. What are principal 4 points of the Vipassana meditation, and what are the benefits of Vipassana meditation. So you please familiarize with this, because this is very important. You are going to apply, you are going to try one day to practice Vipassana meditation. Maybe some of you may have already practiced Vipassana meditation in a good base. If you are interested to practice Vipassana meditation in the USA without going abroad, I want to encourage you to go to the Goenka Meditation Center located in California and also maybe in Massachusetts. They have also in Arizona. In Oregon also they have a center in Toronto. And another is a Insight Meditation Society in the Barre, Massachusetts. But I think that you have to be there. Also in California, there's a center called the Spirit Rock. They are the barrier teachers. You just inquire about Vipassana teacher so that you can have the good, good guidance and good training. You can benefit out of that. Otherwise, it is I don't want to encourage. Just trying to inquire if you are serious to practice Vipassana meditation. Okay, now let me explain Vipassana meditation. You have already the paper in front of you. We mean specially. Vipassana means seeing. To see specially, not ordinarily. So it is unconventional wisdom. Unconventional wisdom, unconventional seeing. Normally we used to see ourselves as a me in mind, as a such and such a Robert and John. But in Vipassana, we no longer hold such kind of stuff. We just hold only two components, body and mind, mind and body. No, nothing else, just body and mind. Body and mind coordinating, then actions happen, then attachments arise, emotions arise. The mindfulness itself is take care of all this kind of observation. Mindfulness is the ordinary mind transformed into mindfulness. So if you are really serious to progress or to explore Vipassana meditation, I want to encourage you to do it under the good guidance of a good teacher, especially good teacher, because there are a lot of teachers, some are mixed of this tradition, that tradition, and etc. The East and West is just very complex. Just trying Vipassana meditation. This way, you can have more proper guidance and proper experience. And it's a very good training to do, very beneficial. So, main objective of meditation is to develop inner calm, and then to develop various stages of deep insight knowledge into the true nature of all mental and physical phenomena. The development of such a deep insight knowledge has the potential to remove mental defilements and can liberate from stubborn notions of egoistic view. And the method, in this case, the principal object, please keep in mind repeatedly, what are the four principal objects of the Vipassana meditation? They are the body. In this case, even though we say the body, we also include breathing, watching the breath, and watching the bodily mode, sitting, walking, standing, lying down, and other body daily activity. In intensive retreat, you have to do everything slowly, slowly. You have to slow down and be mindful of all the slow action and detail. And also in eating is also included. Eating, going to toilet, taking shower, washing, face, brushing teeth, everything to be observed. This is called the body-based mindfulness meditation. Body-based mindfulness meditation. That's easier and simple. The most simple one to practice in your home is just observing the breath. Observing the breath, also the observing the rising and falling of rooming or the walking meditation. They are quite simple. And the second object is sensation and pain. Sensations and pains are also very wonderful object of meditation. If a person's mindfulness becomes very strong and very powerful, one can see all the detailed function and compositions of the pain and sensation. It even can break down all the strong and solid, very tormenting pain slowly, and it can disappear by the power of mindfulness. That's why in some hospital now they have meditation wards who instruct people to meditate on the pain. So pain meditation on the sensation and pain is also a very good way to handle the pain. Now number three object is mind. The mind in this case, various mental states. Boring mind, lazy mind, distracting mind, thinking mind, or theorizing mind, philosophical mind, whatever mind comes up, or is very slight wish, or worry, anxiety, expectation, everything is mind related. One has to be able to observe those mental states and let go. Don't be bothered with all those things. Just observe and let go, let go, let go, observe, let go, observe, let go. Then that's mind slowly, your mind will be very much liberated slowly. Now, number four object, various mental and physical phenomena. This is a very wide object. Very wide object. In Mahasiddhana Sutta Disco, it describes about how to observe it. So, please remind yourself, what is Vipassana meditation? What is the purpose of Vipassana meditation? What are principal object of meditation? Please keep yourself reminded about that. Now turn to next page and the benefits of meditation. Yeah, this is also very important. Now here's a question in this page. Samatha and Vipassana meditation, are they different or are they similar? You just read through the answer and it's quite simple. Now the benefits. Let's study the benefits, 7 benefits of Vipassana meditation. Please try to remember 7 benefits of meditation in order to be inspired, in order to appreciate the meditation. And the first is purification of the mind. The second is overcoming sorrow. And 3 is overcoming lamentation and emotional outbursts. Number 4 is overcoming physical suffering. 5 is overcoming mental suffering. 6 to realize the noble spiritual path. And 7 to attain supreme peace and bliss of Nibbana. Okay, the first benefit, purification of the mind. In the beginning process, you may not notice complete purification, but you will notice slowly reduced states of the mental defilements. For example, you can observe your anger. Normally, you may used to be very, very angry. But when you start practicing meditation, you will be able to pick up the anger and to manage it, to hold it so that it doesn't increase much further. And you will be able to watch the anger slowly with the mindfulness skill, become stronger, and you will be able to reduce your anger. And you will see how the anger subsided, how you can contain the anger. Now, overcoming sorrow, the same thing. Sorrow is a weapon of anger. In Buddhist psychology, it's clearly explained. Sorrow is a weak state of anger. You have to observe it, and then you let go. And lamentation is actually just only one generalization term. Actually, it means emotional outburst. Emotional outburst that comes through the mouth and that comes through the physical action. And you will be able to watch an emotional outburst, and you will be able to control. And for overcoming physical suffering, I already explained being able to cope with the physical suffering and being able to go through physical suffering without pain. And overcoming mental suffering is very simple and easy. I have already explained in our last section about that. Number 6, to be on the noble spiritual path. The moment we start practicing meditation, we are already on the noble eightfold path. We are already on the noble spiritual path. So the meditation itself is the path, spiritual path. Every effort we make is the steps, necessary steps. Number 7, to attain spiritual peace, supreme peace and bliss of Nibbana. So all these are 7 benefits. I want to remind you to try to familiarize these 7 benefits. This way, you can be inspired by these benefits. They are not advertisement of the merchandise. You can try and test yourself and witness how meditation can impact your mind. Now, let's turn to next chapter. Chapter 15. Chapter 15. Chapter 15, please. Okay. These are called the threefold training. Keep reminding yourself what are 3 kinds of training. The first training is called the Sila training, moral training. The second is called the Samadhi training, moral training, concentration training. And the third training is called Pinya. Only the first and the second are practical action, which you need to do in daily life. For Sila training, you have to observe moral precepts. You have to keep moral precepts without breaking. And for second training, Samadhi training, you have to meditate. Meditation itself is second training, Samadhi training. And the third is the result, Pinya training. You don't need to train in order to develop Pinya intentionally. And in the second training, the Pinya will also develop slowly. It is a spontaneous. The third training is a spontaneous process. The purpose and benefit of the tree training, you just read through all these, and then it is simple and easy to understand. The purpose and benefit of the tree training. Now, so we are almost done to cover the important parts of the discourse walk. So please keep reminding yourself about the 3 important trainings in Buddha's teaching. All the Buddha's teachings are intended to develop these 3-4 training. Once you are undergoing these 3-4 training, you are on the right track, on the right spiritual path to achieve peace and happiness in this very life and also you will attain supreme bliss and peace of nirvana, where the mind and the legs are no longer shackled, no longer harassed by defilements, all those impure mental states. You will witness it if you sincerely make necessary effort on your spiritual path. May all of you progress on your spiritual journey, on this social journey. May your efforts be blessed with success and wisdom and peace and happiness. Okay, now let's conclude. If you have a question, please feel free. Now, Corey, if you have a question, please feel free. All the students, if you have the question, please feel free. Let's conclude our session today.
Yeah, a couple people are unmuting their microphones, so give them just a second to get situated here.
Sayadaw, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So I have a question about karma. This is something we came across in our study group as well. So if someone does something unintentionally, subconsciously, does that still count as karma?
Well, even though it constitutes karma, if someone did it intentionally or subconsciously, the result is not serious. The result is not serious.
Consequences are not serious, but they are still karma.
Yes, it's still karma. It still constitutes karma.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next person, if you will have question, please. Next question.
I'm not seeing anybody having anything.
If you have no question, I'm glad. I'm convinced that you have learned very well. This is,
I will have many
this is a
questions
deep
after 8
subject.
o'clock tomorrow.
Okay, no problem. No problem. You can even ask now. I'm ready for your question.
Lisa, did you have a question? You keep unmuting your microphone.
Yeah, I was wondering if it's possible that Sayadaw can summarize what has to be memorized, because there seems like there's a lot of things to be memorized. So much to do. Maybe he can point it out what
Don't
it's
worry.
a must.
Don't worry.
Are you
Don't
asking?
worry. As a layman.
Oh.
Are you Sister Koshi or who's there?
Lisa Wang.
Oh, Lisa. Okay, don't worry. Now, I mean, you have to be more practical, more realistic in studying this. You don't need to bother to know everything. What you need to really know is that what is samatha meditation, vipassana meditation, what are the object of vipassana meditation, and what are the benefits of vipassana meditation, and what are your responsibility as a mother to your children, what are responsibility of your children to you as your children. So you just tell them, so you just memorize them. Also, what are basic moral precepts for a lay person like you, because you are living a layman's life with the children, family members to take care of every day. So you are very busy, you're quite occupied. You don't need to bother. So you just only need to know about what are basic moral precepts as a layman, and what are special precepts if you are going to observe the Svadri or fasting. What meditation is the good for you, and what are important things to manage the mind, and what is more important to make your mind happy and calm, peaceful. These things only necessary. You
Thank
don't
you.
need to theory about that.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, more question? Hello, no question? If you have no question, please, I would like to encourage you not to be nervous, not to be excited to take an examination tomorrow or in the real examination, because the examinations are just only a ways and means of testing how much you have learned in the course. They are just only form and procedure. They are not actual determination of your wisdom and knowledge. The real development of wisdom and knowledge is a very much gradual process. It happens only a certain time frame. So please have a relaxed attitude when you are studying the course and taking examination. You don't need to push yourself too much. Just be relaxed. Okay.